Hey everybody, what's up? I thought it'd be fun if I was the absolute last person on the internet to give you my thoughts on eBay buying TCGplayer, since it's been like maybe a month now. But if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that I'm kind of a more measured person in my response to things. I don't like to fly off the cuff when news is hot off the press and just give a hot take that's potentially uninformed. So I prefer to just think about stuff for a long time, and I've done that here, and there's basically 3 points to eBay buying TCGplayer that I think are important to discuss. So there's essentially a good part, a bad part, and a part that I'm somewhat unsure of still. So the good part initially is, hey, TCGplayer ought to be getting the eBay standard envelope. I think that's actually really good. I mean, it lubricates the wheels in terms of selling cheap singles and doing so while protecting sellers and reducing fraud. I've been using the eBay standard envelope for a couple months now, selling some singles on eBay, and it works great. Like, the failure rate is incredibly low. I've done about 70 transactions using it, and I had like 2 times that it did not get an origin scan. One of those 2 got a destination scan. The other one never got scanned. I don't know if it arrived. The buyer never contacted me. But otherwise, in all those nearly 70 other transactions, it's worked great. And so, as soon as eBay can give that to TCGplayer and they can integrate it in on their back end, I think that's going to be a really big boon to the site and a positive consequence of eBay buying them. So that's the good one. The bad one, of course, we can expect fees to go up. Essentially, in the US, your marketplaces for TCG stuff, and especially for single cards, you have eBay, you have TCGplayer, you have Channel Fireball's marketplace, which is owned by TCGplayer. You have Card Kingdom, which is kind of like a low volume, high price place. Like I have never bought anything from Card Kingdom. And that's essentially it. I mean, you have a couple other kind of weird small sites that people try to do stuff on, but it's the kind of thing where size matters, and having a huge marketplace with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sellers and tens of thousands of buyers and millions of dollars of product listed up, you don't just turn that on overnight. And so it's a difficult industry to break into. And essentially, we've seen the marketplaces start to consolidate. And now 3 of the formerly 4 largest marketplaces in the US are all owned by eBay now. So when that happens, you have no need for competition anymore. You don't need to work hard to keep your customers satisfied. And so you can afford to raise the fees. And I expect that the current kind of 12.5% fees for cards and sealed product and stuff on eBay and TCGplayer, I expect that'll go up 2 or 3 more percentage points. And of course, people have this kind of weird thinking when fees go up or taxes go up or something. And like, especially when it comes to taxes, politicians are like, we'll tax this business because we hate businesses. And it's like, but the consumer pays that. Businesses operate as efficiently as they can already. And just because you put new fees on the business, just because eBay and TCGplayer will come through and they'll say, instead of 12.5%, you're now going to pay 14% fees. That doesn't mean that the business is now going to dig real deep and somehow figure out how to become more efficient. Businesses already operate as efficiently as they can. It's very difficult for a business to just arbitrarily say, hey, I'm going to increase my efficiency another 1.5% today, with the exception of adding a fundamentally new technology into the business, or maybe huge movements in commodity prices or something. There's these rare situations, but for the most part, when marketplace fees like this go up, businesses will simply have to transfer that cost along to the buyer. And it means that as a buyer of singles, as a buyer of sealed product, you're going to be paying that extra little bit. It will then pass through the LGS or the box breaker or the hobbyist who runs whatever seller account on TCGplayer or eBay, and then the money will go up to those marketplaces. But ultimately, the buyers are the ones who will be paying. And yeah, there will be a transition period where they raise the fee and not everybody adjusts their prices up immediately, but everybody will feel the crunch, and over time the prices will drift up to match the new fees. So I guess it's bad in terms of the end consumer who wants to buy on those marketplaces and enjoy the products. The unknown that I really see coming out of this, the third big change, which is unknown to me, I can't decide what I think about it. It's the future of bonus buck sales. And of course, bonus buck sales were really important for TCGplayer when they were competing against eBay, and they had this emergent new threat from Channel Fireball's marketplace. And if you'll recall, Channel Fireball did try pretty hard in the beginning to recruit sellers onto their platform. They had low fees at the start in order to try to bring people on and grow to the scale where they could really compete with TCGplayer and eBay, but now they're gone. Now eBay owns TCGplayer. And so what is the use of bonus buck sales? Because you have to understand that when TCGplayer does a bonus buck sale, they give 10% cash back, and most of the people buying, since you have to be a TCGplayer Infinite Service subscriber, most of the people are getting another 2% cash back. So you're getting 12% cash back, and most of the sellers are paying 12.5% fees. So it basically means that the product sold during a bonus buck sale, it just about brings in no revenue for TCGplayer hosting the marketplace. Now there are some like little bits around the edges because, right, you pay fees on the sales tax that your buyer paid. But when you're the buyer and you're getting bonus bucks cash back, you do not get bonus bucks cash back on the sales tax that you paid. And so there's like little bits in there that TCGplayer scoops up. And there's the fact that the fees are generally 12.5%, but the cash back is only 12, so there's that 0.5%. So TCGplayer doesn't lose money during a bonus buck sale, but it drastically reduces the amount of profit that it makes, because that previously 12.5% shrinks to something probably more akin to, 11 point, or not, it shrinks by 11.8% or so, I would estimate, to something closer to 0.7, 0.8% of a fee that they make on the revenue of the sales. And so why does TCGplayer need to keep doing that? They're not enticing people to come over to their platform anymore. eBay owns eBay and eBay owns TCGplayer. eBay owns both platforms. And again, the next biggest platform out there is Card Kingdom. Have you ever bought from Card Kingdom? So I just don't see there being a solid future for bonus buck sales. I'm not sure what their end looks like. I would almost suspect that at some point there's a small possibility that TCGplayer says, this whole infinite subscriber service just isn't working out. We're just going to axe the whole thing. And then they will also just never have a bonus buck sale again. Because you'll remember early on, bonus buck sales were not tied to infinite subscriber membership. The earliest bonus buck sales were for everyone. And then they started saying, okay, now we're going to have one where only subscribers get to participate. And over the course of 2022 now, they've moved to this model where we really do not expect to ever see another bonus buck sale that is not subscriber only. And so I think at some point there's a small chance they just eliminate the subscriber service, because that makes the whole problem go away in a corporate friendly messaging kind of way. Now, one other thing that I did want to talk about, going back to the fees and the higher fees being passed through to the buyers, I think that may be good for card stores. And this is another thing that I've tried to think about a lot and decide what I think. But, card stores have this interesting situation when they sell singles in the store where they don't pay those ridiculous fees. They pay whatever the credit card transaction fee is with their processor. Whether that's like 2.5% or 3%. And if there's a fixed fee on top of that of, 20, 30 cents, something like that, depending on what kind of program they're on and who they're with. But that's the fee they pay in store. And so if you increase the fees on the marketplaces, don't you push more of those sales back to the physical store? Now, I know you have the kind of inefficient friction problem where, hey, your local card store only has the cards available in that local card store. You're not shopping from every card store in the entire country at once from your phone while you sit on the potty. But you still have access to a lot of cards, and your card store owner can arbitrage the difference in those fees that they are not paying to TCGplayer. And so there would be this opportunity where essentially he can both offer a lower price to the customer to entice them in, but also still make more money than he would selling the same card on TCGplayer. But, you have your other problems where the number of potential customers is smaller, the number of cards you'll sell that way is smaller, but it seems like there should be some opportunity there for the actual physical local card store. So those are my thoughts. I think overall it's unfortunate. I always hate seeing less competition in a market because really more competition benefits everyone but the company itself. And even arguably companies benefit from competition in some ways, but that's a much more nuanced conversation. So let me know what you think. Is there any big point of this that I'm missing? I'm not sure. I think I thought about it for a long time, and that's why this video is coming so long after the actual announcement. But I feel that's better than just giving a half-baked quick take as soon as you see the news. So let me know what you think. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on Final Trade. Join the Patreon.